I did actually win a Top Achiever of the Year award at Volta's Awards at the Gherkin, and they're all the award winners and they're far left, and that was just an amazing event. So this evening I'm just going to share with you the headlines of that year and what was so good about that year for me. And these are my stats for that year. So in terms of completed deals for sourcing, that was a very good income, 86,000.
Hi everyone, welcome to this YouTube video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Walter Pontes. In this video I'm going to show you behind the scenes of an interview I've done with one of my members, Pam Chanka. Very inspirational story. Pam Chanka decided to be involved in property after working for 20 years for HMRC. Didn't know anything about property, read an article and quit her job and start in property. In the year she worked with us to make 6 figures, 160,000. She's going to tell the story. Now she's a coach, she's a mindset coach, and she's going to tell you what is the mindset for you to succeed in property. I will see you in the end of the video. Bye now.
So thank you so much indeed, Walter, for inviting me this evening to tell you my story. So as I say, my name is Pam Chanka. I am a property investor, and I'm here this evening to tell you my journey from the civil service, from my job through to property investing, through to property sourcing, and now I am a success coach. So I started my journey, went straight out of education into the civil service, and I did what most people do. I just went and got a job, a career, and I worked hard, got promoted, worked hard, got promoted, and so on and so on. And I was due to be there until I retire. But then after 28 years, I just actually had an epiphany. So for 28 years, I've done the same thing in the same way. I had, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and it was really great. Got married, had children, all wonderful. But then on the 14th of October 2016, I actually had an epiphany, and I read an article about this lady that was really successful in property, and I found out all about her, and I just thought, you know what, I'd love to do that. I really would love to do that. I'd never done anything to do with property. All I'd, my education was homes under the hammer or changing rooms. But I just thought, I would really, really love to do that. We had actually inherited some money, so I did have enough to live off for 2 years, and I had enough to buy a house. But literally, that was it. So I had to make it work. I had to be successful, but I just knew that whatever happened, whatever it took, I would make it work. So I read this article about this lady and found out all about her. She was running a course to give back to women, and I decided I was going to give up my job and do this course, and that's what I did. So gave up my job at the end of January 2017 and started the course in February 17, and literally I didn't know anything, but as I say, I just figured that I could learn. So I didn't even know what an HMO was in February 2017, but by September I'd bought a terraced house, and it was being converted into an HMO. By the December, it had gone live with a housing association in it, and it had homeless men in it. So for me, it was a real win-win for a first deal. And I've still got that property now, and it's still yielding really well. It's got a different housing association in it. And so that was the beginning of my property investing. So for the last few years, I've been buying property, but then in November, I met Volta. So I was on a different mastermind, and Volta came to talk to our mastermind group to tell us about his property journey and about his deal generator course that was just being launched. So I went on that course, and I did really, really enjoy it. And what I love about the course is that it's not just about the what to do, it's in the absolute detail as to how to do it, including, you know, emails, letters, scripts, everything, spreadsheets, you name it, the detail, and that's what I really loved about it. So went into deal sourcing, and so I'd actually sent out some landlord letters. I think it was only one batch of landlord letters. I actually had 4 properties come my way. One of them was a maisonette apartment, over some shops, and then 3 apartment blocks. And so I co-sourced those. Obviously, you know, we found buyers for them, and then did the deal. So for those 4 properties, well, one of the apartment blocks didn't complete, the other 2 did, and the maisonette apartment. So we had 3 completions there. They were actually co-sourced with another lady. I had the deals, she had the investors, and that was my introduction to deal sourcing. So that went really well. And I had, by this time, my own investors, UK investors, and was fortunate enough to work with, you know, and have access to overseas investors. That was really then when my deal sourcing really took off. But in terms of deal sourcing, I recognised that, you know, I would actually have to do this and really start, you know, create a business properly. It was never my intention when I went into property to create a business, but I realised that to actually deal source properly and to get the quantity through, then I would actually, you know, need to take on and work with staff. So that's what I did. So I had somebody finding the property, somebody dealing with the case progression, somebody looking after the refurbs, did the whole thing. You know, a really very good year in terms of deal sourcing and the multiple streams of property income. So and so then at the end of, I did actually win a Top Achiever of the Year award at Volters Awards at the Gherkin. And they're all the award winners and they're far left. And that was just an amazing event. So this evening, I'm just going to share with you the headlines of that year and what was so good about that year for me. And these are my stats for that year. So in terms of completed deals for sourcing, that was a very good income, 86,000. I did some rent-to-rent serviced accommodation. That was with some people that I'd met a couple of years earlier. I'd done some serviced accommodation, and it was some Norwegian sailors. I'll call them boatmen for the want of a better word, but they came over into the UK and they were facilitating the maintenance of the wind farms. So they used to alternate between Liverpool and Barrow-in-Furness, and I've got really good links with the people that deal with their accommodation in the UK. So if anybody does have any HMOs in Liverpool or Barrow-in-Furness, I've got some good links there. But they needed some really quick temporary accommodation, so that's where I came in and in there. And I stood in really quickly and found something. Literally, I think they rang me on the Friday and they wanted something on the Tuesday. So, you know, we managed to pull that off. And then a couple of property completions. That one that says in conveyancing, the awards were at the beginning of December, and this completed in December. And then rental income. So it was a really good year. This is one of the deals that I found in that year. So asking price 75,000, purchase price 70, with yield of 9.5%. And that shouldn't say capital gain; it should actually say profit on purchase. So that was a really good deal. It's a little terraced house in Liverpool. It is off market, and there is no sourcing fee, because the best thing about being a deal sourcer is you can keep the best deals for yourself. So that's what I did. I bought this one, and it was off market, but it was from an agent. So the agent actually rang me, quite naughty really, and just said, "I've got this, do you want it?" And he said, and I would happen to be in Liverpool. He said, "Can you come and have a look at it now?" And I did, and literally the deal was done, because it had been empty for a while and they were desperate to sell it. So it was as well, you know, I was just in the right place. So that worked really well in my favour. And then this is one that I did sell on. So this was asking price of 95, secured at 85, and then a yield of 7.7%. And again, a profit at purchase of £10,000. So instantly there's a win there on the date of purchase. This was on market, and sorting fee £3,500. So my key learnings for property sourcing and property in general, really. The first thing I would say is that you are on your own journey. And I would say, you know, it's a very personal journey, and you should never compare yourself to anybody else. I, you know, nominated myself for an award that year based on an income of about 165,000. But at the time of the awards, there was a lot of activity, you know, on Deal Generator, Facebook, and, you know, people were saying, and somebody had posted on YouTube, and they don't, you know, there was over £100,000 here and this there, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'll never, you know, I'm not going to nominate myself. And then I thought, well, hang on a minute, I'm going to sit down and actually work out what I've done, and I did, and it actually shocked me. So the lesson I learned there was, you know, don't be put off by what's going on around you. Your journey is very personal, and so just be really single-minded and be really focused on your journey. And the second thing I would say is that relationships with agents are key. So whilst, you know, I did a lot of off-market deals during, you know, that year, a lot of them did come from agents, because there's a lot of landlords that don't want to put their rental properties on the market, so because they don't want to alert their tenants. So I would say, you know, make agents your best friends, really nurture them and get in their black books, because they know you're serious and they know you're buying, they'll bring them to you before they bring them to anybody else. So there's some really good deals to be done there. And the other thing, the third thing I would say in terms of property, and in terms of any business really, is that people lead to people lead to people. So it is all about having conversations and all about relationships, and you never know where the next conversation is going to take you. So like I say, I build relationships. So in terms of my strategy, I am a property investor, will always be a property investor now. And in terms of being a property sourcer, I do still source properties, not actively, because I've been a property sourcer. So I was actively sourcing property into 2022, into the spring and summer of 2022. But now those deals have now completed, and now obviously because I have run a property sourcing business, I am still brought properties, and I do still have investors that come to me with cash that want to spend their money. So, you know, I do still do some property sourcing, but it isn't the main thing now that I do. So now what I do and what I really enjoy doing is I empower other people to achieve success. And the way that I do that is through coaching, through programs, and through events. And some of my clients, just to give you the range and flavour of the type of people that I work with property investors, I work with solicitors, builders, estate agents. I've even got some personal tutors, a team, an e-commerce team, so a complete range. But I believe, and I think my story actually demonstrates this, that it doesn't matter who you are, you know, what your age, your gender, or your background, you can be, do, and have whatever you want if you've got a clear plan, a clear vision, a plan, and you take action. So they are, you know, really, really important. And I would say that whatever you want, you can have it. So in terms of my key to success, then, if you can dream it, you can do it. So that came from Walt Disney. And then another really big one for me is Henry Ford. If you know, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.